Kumakani, good morning. Can't move this thing. All right. Oh, there's some background music.
I know, it was a surprise to me. I said, what? I said, I hope they don't confuse that with our village. But I can't do it.
Easily sidetracked. All right.
I did totally unexpected.
Homo yabemi, Nishanana memiwakamni, Lidam Lily yapemni. I'm Shelly Covert, and I'm the spokesperson for the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe. My auntie Sarah is here with me today. And we would like to welcome everybody to this great piece of land, which was always a place of trade and a place of gathering. And it has been that way for hundreds and hundreds of years, maybe even thousands of years. Who knows how long this actual trade spot went back. But they would have big trades here every 5 years. And there's old stories of the men going far away to get the obsidian, and it was a feat of strength, the biggest pieces they could bring back and bring to the big trades. So my grandpa used to laugh about this place. I'd like to tell this, I say it all the time, it probably gets a little bit redundant, but he just thought it was so funny that this place was still a place of gathering. And he's like, the land must like that. And I like that point of view, that the land has an opinion and a spirit of its own, that the land likes the gathering, and that's why it continues to happen here. I think it's important to share the Nisenan language. We don't have any fluent speakers today, and so it's been a quest and a struggle, one of those uphill battles to reclaim the language. When my grandmother was alive, she was still singing songs in Nisenan, telling stories and speaking words. Her last word that she remembered as she got closer to the end, she was beginning to have a lot of the memories open up from when she was a young girl. And she'd yell out, and she'd call me or my husband James, and James works with us in the Nisenan language classes, even though he's not Nisenan, he's Lenape and Irish and Italian. So, we get those husbands. And but he would come down to Grandma, she'd call him, and she'd say, James, I remember a word. And the word she remembered, her last word was weliklik, which means to hurry up. And way later, we were looking at some of the language materials at the Smithsonian, and sure enough, we found weliklik had been written down by a linguist somewhere, and it meant literally to move a body part quickly. So I thought that was, after she passed, I would dream about her, and I felt her presence really strongly it's the first time that's happened to me in my life, for about 2 weeks. And it was just like she would snap and be like, weliklik, Shelly, weliklik. And we're trying on many fronts to preserve our culture and to raise the visibility of our tribe that was almost completely erased here because of the gold rush and after, and just how we tend to forget history. It gets lost. It takes one generation. If it's not documented well, or if there aren't good oral storytellers in your family, or there aren't people ready to receive that history and that information on the flow-through side, the younger people. And so we were nearly forgotten. We've also been really absorbed with the Maidu folks, that Maidu label. And it wasn't for my grandpa to say, we're not Maidu, we're Nisenan. And I had never even heard the word before because I identified as Maidu Miwok. My grandmother was Miwok. And my Bureau of Indian Affairs card says I'm Maidu Miwok, and my whole identity had been brought up as Maidu. And so I was haranguing him one day about the magic. That's what I would always ask him about, is like, tell me about the magic, Grandpa. And one of his, I had said, what did the dancers do? Because I was learning about the big head dances and the kuksu dances, and asking my grandmother about the women's dances because they're not documented hardly at all. And like the women didn't dance. Probably not true. This was some of the anthropologists and ethnologists say, just because they weren't documented, they're not part of the written record, does not mean they weren't out there dancing and having their own secret societies and the same things that the men did. And if you're in Indian country, you know that women have exactly equal and maybe sometimes more say on some subjects out there. So anyway, I was asking him about magic, and I said, what did we do though, Grandpa? What did the Maidu do? And he had said, we're not Maidu, we're Nisenan. And as I got older, I started looking at the how some of the academics use that as a synonym. And the higher generations above us had taken that term, just as I had, because once you're called something long enough, that tends to stick with you. And so it's been a process, it's been an internal process with my family, learning to re-identify in a more clear way. And but I'm so glad I had those conversations. I used to think it was a blessing and a curse to have these conversations, because it's so much easier just to belong without where I feel like I'm always causing conflict or something by bringing up these points. But they're very important for our identity here and our cultural continuancy. And I would like to sing a couple songs for you, if I could. Yes, I do, but on the next one, is that all right? You'll come? A-U-U-E-A-Nam, 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 A-U-U-Bineta, Estumianim-Yamenan, Le-U-E-O, 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 A-U-U-E-A-Nam, 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 A-U-U-Bineta, Estumianim-Yamenan, Le-U-E-O, 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 A-U-U-E-A-Nam, 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 A-U-U-Bineta, Estumianim-Yamenan, Le-U-E-O, 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 A-U-U-E-A-Nam, A-U-U-E-A-Nam. Hey! Auntie, would you like to?
I don't know where you wanted it, but I'm sure for
This is my Aunt Sarah, who's with me today. This is so when I'm speaking about my grandpa and the things that he said, this is her dad. So my grandpa Dutch is he was our last leader here after old Chief Kelly had passed on. And he was a man of very few words, but he was a very true man. He's one of those people that if he gave you his word or shook your hand or made you a promise or told you about the culture. It took me a while when I was younger to understand that I was always afraid that he was wrong because I would read conflicting things by anthropologists and ethnologists and well-meaning people who came out, but they didn't know our ways as well as he did, and he was raised in the traditional way. But I was always so afraid that he was the one that was wrong and the books were right when I was younger. And luckily, I had an elder say to me, stop looking outside your own culture for confirmation, which really helped my heart and helped me stop doubting myself and doubting the truths of the culture that are sometimes in conflict with the written history that we're brought up in school with. But we're in language class together. Auntie's also in language, and we went to the Smithsonian Institute and the National Archives looking for linguistic materials to support our language reclamation program. And I can't tell you, I mean, you may have experienced it on your own, but it's so hard. You know, I'm looking for linguistic material, but yet you have to read through all of the opinions and the bias and the discriminatory feelings of these people who are writing down this information. And like, it's not hard enough because we have linguists that are writing in 4 different Nisenan language writing systems, so we can actually read 4 different language systems. So like, that's not hard enough because I suck at English anyway, so I don't have that grammatical background, and then you have to translate these things and reorganize them in your head. But then you have to, like, they'll be talking about some of these magical sacred items, sacred songs, sacred places, sacred people, sacred beings, and you have to sift through their opinions about the savage folks and how all these beautiful ceremonies are from the devil and all these different kind of things. So it makes it a little harder, but I'm really proud of my family, and I'm proud that they have the bones and the depth and ability to sift through all that stuff and still find the linguistic materials that we're looking for. And the same in the ethnologies. The new song that we made, thank you, Miles. The new song that we made, actually, I was putting place names that we know, and we're recovering some of the old place names that had been forgotten in the tribe. So it's really exciting. But I think, all that said and done, it's important to hear the language of a place. So Nisenan language is its own separate language and has 13 dialects. So if you're down in the Shingle Springs, Placerville area, they have a different dialect. Our dialect shift between here and Auburn, between here and Smartsville. You're getting a different dialect, and they're quite different sometimes. And the way they say their counting systems is the first thing that changes. So I find that to be, it sounds so disrespectful, incredibly annoying and hard, but at the same time, it's showing the unique beauty of different families. Even just 20 miles down the road, they have a different dialect and a different way of tending the land. So anyway, we're going to share a little bit more music. Oh, please.
I just want to say how proud we are as a tribe that we have Shelly, because I mean, we're so quiet. I'm kind of like my dad. I don't talk a lot, but I just want you to know that we love you.
And we're going to help, if you guys catch on to the words, I'm going to repeat it, and we're going to bring her around in a circle. So if you feel like participating and helping get Auntie back around, that'd be great. Sole meri buenam, sole meri buenam. Sole meri buenam, sole meri buenam. Wubum kuyanim, wubum kuyanim, wubum kuyanim, wubum kuyanim. Ya bai toto, ya bai toto, ya bai toto, ya bai toto. Sole meri buenam, sole meri buenam, sole meri buenam, sole meri buenam. Wubum kuyanim, wubum kuyanim, wubum kuyanim, wubum kuyanim. Ya bai toto, ya bai toto, ya bai toto, ya bai toto. Sole meri buenam, sole meri buenam, Solimerik wenam, solimerik wenam, wupum kuyanim, wupum kuyanim, wupum kuyanim, wupum kuyanim. Yapai toto, yapai toto, yapai toto, yapai toto. Solimerik wenam, solimerik wenam, solimerik wenam, solimerik wenam. Wupum kuyanim, wupum kuyanim, wupum kuyanim, wupum kuyanim. Yapai toto, yapai toto, yapai toto, yapai toto. Solimerik wenam, solimerik wenam, solimerik wenam, solimerik wenam. One of the hard things writing new music for the community, we're trying to get gathering songs and seasonal songs. We have some, but there's a lot that we're missing, so we're trying to bring new music also out into the community that we can use while we're gathering and doing our day-to-day prayers or going different places. So one of the things that is really hard for me is to write, because I think in English, and so I write in English, and then we've been going to language class and getting help, unless it's super simple, but getting help in translating these songs from English into Nisenan, and just hoping that the Nisenan fits as nicely and as the English did. And we've been really lucky that the Nisenan actually fits more beautifully and is much more smooth. So I think there's a little magic at work there. But this song, so we have it translated, but I haven't committed it to memory yet. And it's a big song. And it's so simple in English. So I'm going to sing it in English for you. And hopefully one of these days I'll be able to get the Nisenan version, which should be I'm singing, but I should be singing. But the simplest song in English has turned out to be quite a challenge for me in Nisenan. All right. And this is it's stemmed from what I was told by my elders about letting your troubles go, and that's what our waters are for. It's Sister Spirit, take my troubles and take them down the water. Take my troubles with you, and because so many of our waterways can't flow freely with their spirit to do one of the things, innate partnerships that I believe they have with humans and probably the rest of the beings on the planet, is that they cleanse, they take, they move. It's what they do, it's their spirit. And somebody's obnoxious phone. Thank you.
What are you guys?
Oh.
Your contract's up.
Thank you, Amber. Sorry about that. Willow leaf rolling down the waterway. Willow leaf rolling down the waterway. Take my troubles with you, take them all away. Willow leaf rolling down the waterway. Willow leaf rolling down the waterway. Willow leaf rolling down the waterway. Take my troubles with you, take them all away. Willow leaf rolling down the waterway. Willow leaf rolling down the waterway. Willow leaf rolling down the waterway. Take my troubles with you, take them all away. Willow leaf rolling down the waterway. I don't want to talk forever and ever and ever. But I do want to be a little bit of, share a little bit of what our tribe is doing today, the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe. So we were a federally recognized tribe up until 1964, and we're part of California's terminated tribes. And there were 44 terminated by Congress in California, and 41 have been restored. And we're one of the 3 that remains in a terminated state. And unfortunately, we were in federal court for 7 years, 7.5, 8 years, I can't even remember how long it's been now. And we lost our court case because the federal government raised as their defense the 6-year statute of limitations. And the other 41 tribes who have been restored were all outside that 6-year statute as well, but the government didn't bring that up as their defense. And so we're the first California rancheria to have that happen. And so we're taking like this last hurrah. Our only recourse now is legislation. And 3 years ago, a very nice man, former Colorado Senator Ben Nighthorse, had asked me, I met him at this chance thing out in Minnesota, of all places, and he said, oh, you're thinking about going through legislation, and the court case law was very new for me, so I was very emotionally scarred at the moment. And he's like, who's your congressman? And I was like, I don't know. And he shook his finger at me, kind of in a gesture like Grandpa would have done, young lady, you need to... If you're even considering going through legislation, you need to learn a few things and, get that starry look off your face. Starry. Anyway, so we've learned a lot, and we have started a campaign just for local community support to start. Our local board of supervisors, our cities, our chambers of commerce. Grass Valley Chamber of Commerce stepped up and is passionately behind us, which I thought was really cool, because they have a lot of influence locally, which all makes sense to me in a political mindset, I suppose. We got my friend over here, Miles, who actually started a petition to Congress. We're up at 1,400 signatures, just in our little pilot phase. Miles started by standing on the street corner with the sign saying, hey, support the local tribe, in his bid for federal recognition. Thank you. Yeah. So great. So we're getting ready to move out of our pilot phase into, really figuring out what this campaign will look like. And we would really appreciate your support. You can just, as always, go online to the website, nisenan.org, and you can find our letters of support to both federal senators, our local supervisors if you live in Nevada County, and then the petition, I don't think is online yet, but we were just talking about getting that so you can sign it digitally. But we sure would appreciate the support. We're seeking to educate our community. We've built a pretty beautiful educational packet that talks about the tribe and its history here. There's a lot of we made a timeline, and there's a lot of, and I think you're probably very well aware, there's a lot of Native folks here that that timeline is kind of dark and hard to present to people sometimes because they get defensive and they don't want to hear. So we've really tried to be smooth and we're not trying to shame people. But history is so close to being lost that it's absolutely important. I'm learning to speak a little more frankly. I used to beat around 20 bushes because I never want to hurt anybody's feelings. And as more, I think it's age. We were joking about this last year. I'm just like, whereas it used to be, I'm like, I'm fine. I never got angry or mad. I could say it 50 times. I don't care. That's changing a little bit for me. So anyway, please check out our website if you can. Look at ways to support. We'd really appreciate it. We have a nonprofit, Chirp, that is our vehicle for all of this stuff that we're doing today. And I just would like to close with a little short song from my grandmother. I'll see which one. It's one of her gambling songs. So funny how when you look at the loss of language and loss of culture, the things that survived, you can usually find the gambling stuff, written somewhere. But I think it's because that was safe, a lot of the spiritual, the deeply, the name of some of the creator spirits and the different things that were out there were not safe to pass on, or you would never have some person write it down. So, but what does remain kind of in force are the gambling songs. So I'll just share a couple of those with you, just again to honor the elders, that have passed, honor the elders and the dead here that are buried nearby, and just to say that you're not forgotten. And I know in a hachichu helai helai. 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 And you know in a hole, and you know where I hell, and you know in a hole, and you know where I hell, and you know in a hole, and you know where I hell, and you know in a hole, and you know where I hell. And I know in a hole, and you know where I hell, and you know in a hole, and you know where I hell, and you know in a hole, and you know where I hell, and you know in a hole, and you know where I hell. Okay, and one lullaby to end. Yoani, 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 Yoana. Yoani, 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 Yoana. Yoani, Yoana. Yoani, Yoana. Yoani, 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 Yoana. Yoani, 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 Yoana. Yoani, Yoana. Yoani, Yoana. Yoani, 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 Yoana. Yoani, 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 Yoana. Yoani, 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 Yoana. Yoani, Yoana. Yoani, Yoana. Yoani, Yoana. Hey! Thank you so much. I'm going to leave you with that. And also just a thought, to support locally when you can. And watch out, they're trying to dam everything. Our Bear River actually is in danger of being dammed. Keep your eye on it, folks. especially when you don't hear about it for a while. I always tend to get really nervous. It's like, what's going on? So keep your eye on that. Support locally. If you have the time to go to our website and support our tribe with your signatures and spread it around, we'd appreciate it so much. So on behalf of my auntie and my family and my tribal council and my tribe and the people of this place, thank you so much and welcome. I hope the festival is just awesomely rocking. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelly.